Hey there, I'm Martin from instructandgrow.com, where we help you navigate the complexities of marriage, parenting, faith, and personal growth. Today I want to talk to you about something that's incredibly important but often overlooked in marriage, and that's keeping the romance alive. Do you remember the butterflies you felt when you first began courting your wife?
She's so cute.
Over time, that feeling might have turned from exciting to routine. Please understand, it doesn't have to stay that way. Come on, let's explore how to woo your wife again and reignite the spark to keep that romance alive.
Countless songs have been composed on the topic of love. As good as it sounds, most would agree that love alone is not enough. That's because of how we define love.
Try performing a search for the most romantic songs and listen to the lyrics. How many of them say the word romance? When I tried this, I couldn't find a single one. The lyrics all said love. Does that mean that romance and love are one and the same?
Love is a choice that develops over time and requires long-term commitment, whereas lust is a feeling. The phrase love at first sight is the feeling of lust, and romance is an action displayed for someone you lust for or love.
Romance is a universal language known by both males and females. Admittedly, it is much better understood and spoken by the female persuasion than the male.
When you and your wife first got together, you were probably quite the Romeo, but over the years that changed. Periodically, even your wife may express how you've changed, saying things like, "You're not as romantic as you used to be." Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you.
Do you remember when you stopped being romantic? Well, your wife does. At some point after she agreed to be with you, you decided it was no longer necessary to woo her. It probably happened shortly after you two agreed to be together for the long haul. When the excitement of lust wore off and the choice of love set in. Even though you don't feel the need to be romantic, she craves it.
Since love is a choice, part of choosing to love someone is putting their needs above your own, which is often easier said than done.
In this video, we'll look at ways of reigniting the romance in your marriage and keep that spark alive. Along the way, you'll become better versed in the language of romance.
Understanding the importance of romance in marriage is key. Women undoubtedly have a corner on the romance market, but that doesn't let us off the hook for putting forth our best effort.
Do you remember courting your wife? Like most couples, you probably spent hours talking. Spent as much time together as you could and put your best foot forward. Have you taken a step back from who you once were? If so, perhaps it's time to be refamiliarized with your former self.
Through your wooing, you became the butter to her bread, or have you forgotten that? Perhaps it's time to woo her again. Song of Songs, chapter 1, verse 2 says, "Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is more delightful than wine."
Romance for a woman requires more effort than for men. If a woman wants to be romantic for a man, she only has to do one thing: show up naked. Because men are visual beings. On the other hand, women require a little more effort.
When you and your wife first got together, did you kiss and hold each other a lot? Do you still kiss her passionately when not being intimate, or are they limited to pecks? Do you hold her in your arms at night, or is it restricted to a quick hug before you leave home?
If you don't hold your wife and kiss her passionately still, perhaps it's time to get into that habit again.
Do you ask open-ended questions in your conversations, or are they primarily closed-ended, limited to short answers? Women love to talk. Even if you don't have enough words left, ask her open-ended questions, and she'll do most of the talking.
Why do you think good salespeople ask clients about themselves? It allows a client to talk and feel heard. The same is true for your wife.
You don't say.
And chivalry should never die. Continue to open doors for her. When walking in a parking lot or sidewalk, position yourself between her and moving vehicles. If you're sitting down to a meal, wait for her, even if that means you have to reheat your food. And practice patience rather than getting upset when she makes you late.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
These small things will help your relationship. Why? Because you're thinking of her above yourself. That's love. 1 Corinthians 13 verses 4 and 5 says, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs." To help you have a better relationship with your wife, consider reading Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages for Men, Tools for Making a Good Relationship Great. I've included my affiliate link in the description below.
As a side note, if you didn't know, with affiliate links, I may get a small commission from any purchase that you make, but there's no additional cost to you. Now let's continue with the obstacles and barriers to romance.
Identifying common barriers to romance is essential. Here are just 5 of the more common reasons. Busy schedules and lack of time, communication breakdown, unresolved conflict, lack of physical intimacy, and stress.
Most of us would agree that it's difficult to be romantic when there's friction between the two of you. Looking at that list, I see a bunch of excuses because priorities are out of whack. Take busy schedules, lack of time, for example.
You and I both know if we want to do something bad enough, we'll make the time, even if that means giving up something else to do so.
Communication breakdown is extremely common and not just in relationships.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Think about businesses and teams in this digital age. Language barriers, virtual teams, personality clashes, leadership differences, the various platforms to communicate with, i.e. email, direct message platforms, video conferencing software, etc. And so much more.
For a deeper dive into each of them, you can read more in 5 Barriers to Romance and How to Overcome Them on our website. A link is in the description below.
At the start of your relationship, you romanticized your soon-to-be wife because she had something that you wanted. Do you not want what she has to offer anymore?
Who wants it? I want it!
Of course you do. But you don't get it as often as you did in the beginning either.
Sex at the start of a relationship is about newness and exploration. After 20 years of marriage, it's no longer new and there's not much left to explore. But hopefully, there's still a lot of pleasure in it. We shouldn't think romance is given in exchange for sex. Rather, romance should be a display of our love, and sex is a bonus.
If you've been together for many years, you've both changed. What you and your wife liked to do when you first met is typically not the same now. Therefore, it might be time to interview your wife again. Ask her open-ended questions as to what she sees as romantic.
Her answers will either confirm what you believe or correct your thinking. Once you have the answers, start incorporating them for her if you're not already.
Reigniting romance in marriage isn't as difficult as we make it out to be, and the results can be far more profound than we realize.
Yes, there are often barriers that may dampen romance in your marriage, but those who are willing to overcome them will find a way. Because romance in your marriage will help keep that loving feeling alive for years to come. If you've been able to keep the romance spark alive, please share your story in the comments.
Thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And for more tips on marriage, family, and career from a Christian man's perspective, visit www.instructandgrow.com. Until next time, keep the romance alive. God bless.